Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm the creative director of Oriana Couture. I want to say a big thank you to all my subscribers and to the returning subscribers. Thank you so much. If you find this video interesting, kindly stay to the end. So this is a continuation of our two-piece. So I will be showing you how to draft the skirts, and these are the tools we'll be needing for this tutorial. So first thing first, you have to get your pattern paper and then all of these tools. So the first thing you're going to do is to mark your starting line, like what I have there. I've gone to I just placed my tape on the starting line on the pattern paper. So you come down by 1 inch on your pattern paper. If you are a newbie, please don't do this on your fabric. Kindly do this on a pattern paper. So after marking 1 inch, you're going to mark across as I've done. So you mark across, and then the next thing you are going to do is either you come down by the length of your skirt. So you come down by the length of your skirt because it's a short skirt. So the length of this skirt, I think I'm working with 16, 17. So it all depends on your preference. So for a small person, you work with 16. For someone who is on a large side, you can work with 18. So right now I'm going to be working with 16 plus the sewing allowance, which is 1 inch, so which will make it 17. So I've gone ahead and marking it across my pattern paper. Please do so by marking across your pattern paper, and then you take your straight rule and then you rule across to get a very straight line. Please rule across to get a very straight line. So after that, the next thing that we are going to be doing is to take our hip depth. So there are various ways of doing this. So for a smaller person, a slim person that is size 6, you can take hip depth of 7, but for an average person that is on a size 8, you can take hip depth of 8. Then for someone who is very tall, usually the hip depth is 9. So for this person I'm making for this outfit, she's on the medium size and I took 8, so I've gone ahead to mark across. So the starting line, that will be our waistline. As you can see, I'm marking with my pen, so you'll be able to see that. So and the hip depth, that's where we are going to place our hip measurement, and then that is the full length of the skirt. Please follow the steps, you're not going to miss it. So that is the full length of the skirt. So I've gone ahead to do that, and the next thing that we are going to be taking right here, you can see I had to zoom in with my camera to show you the length of the skirt, the hip depth, and the waist line. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is to take our various measurements across. We'll take our waist measurement, we'll take our hip measurement, and then our round knee. So for this person, the waist measurement that I'm taking is 30 plus the allowance for sewing and the dart allowance. So I've gone ahead to place that, and the hip measurement I'm working with is 40 divided by 4. Please, when you're taking your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your round circle knee measurement, you have to divide them by 4. Please take note of this, divide by 4. So I've gone ahead to take my waist measurement divided by 4, and then my hip measurement divided by 4, and then the round knee measurement divided by 4. If you don't know how to calculate your round knee, all you have to do is to either minus 2 inches from your original waist measurement, or you add 1.5 inch to your original waist measurement. Please, I'm going to take that again. For your round circle knee, if you don't know how to take it on your client's body, there are 2 ways of calculating. You add 1.5 inch on your original waist measurement, or you remove 2 inch from your original hip measurement. So right now I'm taking my slight curve ruler to connect these points together. I'm connecting from the waistline to the hip line. Please, when you're working with your slight curve ruler, work with the parts where we have 16 or 18 inch. It's going to give you a very nice curve it shouldn't be too curvy. Please take note of this. It shouldn't be too curvy. And you can see it has changed my ruler, and then I'm connecting from my hip line to my to the length of where the skirt stop, which is more of our what's it called, which is going to stand as our round knee measurement. So when you're working, when you're doing yours, you have to be careful and work with the slight curve rule very well, so you'll be able to get it right. There shouldn't be sharp edges. Please kindly avoid sharp edges. All the edges should be smooth, and it should align and go in very well. You can see there are no sharp edges after doing that, so you just have to be patient when doing this. So right now, the next thing that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be taking my dart measurement, so just watch out. So what I did here is placing my dart measurement, which is my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and the nipple to nipple divided by 2 is 4. That is 8 divided by 2. So I'm going ahead and place that there, and then I'm going to come down by 4. Please take note of this. Coming down by 4 is for the front, and for the back you're going to come down by 6. So right now we are using this to cut both the front and the back. But when you are sewing on your skirt, when you're sewing for the dart, please ensure that you come down by 6 for the back, but for the front you come down by 4. So I'm going to be taking what's it called, half inch from one side of the dart to the other to create my dart leg. So I've gone ahead to mark the half inch, and then I will rule across, and then I would also rule on the other side of the pattern paper. So that is how to get for the dart. And so the next thing is to get our slope measurement for the skirt. So we come down by, I'm going to be coming down by 0.25, or you come down by half inch. So this is me showing you 0.25 on the tape rule. So that is 0.25 and the other is 0.5. 0.25 and the other is 0.5. So I'm going to be coming down by 0.25. Please take note of where I'm showing you 0.25. So I'm going to be coming down by 0.25. This is to allow the skirt to sit, because our tummy is not straight, is curvy at the down. So I'm going to connect this to my skirt waistline. As you can see, I'm using my slight curve rule to do so. Please make sure, don't use a straight ruler, use a slight curve ruler. As you can see, I'm trying to find the perfect match for it. So, and then the next thing is to connect carefully. So I'm going to connect. I had to use my biro to connect this, so you would see. But if you're a beginner, please use your pencil should the case you want to clean or there's any mistake. So while you're going to be cutting, don't cut on the 0.25 when you're starting, because we are using this pattern to cut both the front and the back. Please take notes, we are using this pattern to cut both the front and the back. So the next thing is to start adding your allowance. Either you want to use 2 inch, but don't use more than 2 inch, except the client requires more allowance, and the standard allowance for skirt are 2 inch. So I'm going to be placing my allowance around from the waistline to the hip, and then to the length of the skirt, and then I'm going to connect all through. So but if you look at the skirt, I did more than 2 inches. This is because of the dart, because after taking the dart, an inch has been taken out of it. So I added for both the darts and then the allowance for the skirt. So I'm going to take my slight curve ruler and connect these lines together. Please always work with 16 inches on the slight curve ruler. It's going to give you a perfect curve. Work with 16 inch on the slight curve ruler, this particular slight curve ruler. So then I've gone ahead to connect all points together. I'm gonna add to condense all points together, and then I'm going to take my scissors and cut outside the lines. Please, when you are cutting, don't cut inside the lines, cut outside the lines, so you won't alter the measurements that you have taken already. So kindly watch how I'm cutting this. I'm taking my time to do this. Please do the same. Don't rush when you are working with a pattern paper. Pattern paper is not fabric, so make sure you cut outside the line. It is always safe to cut outside the line instead of cutting inside the line. So I've gone ahead to cut through the sides, and now we are going to be cutting this other side where we came down by 0.25. Remember that when you are cutting, cut from either the 0.25 or from the original line. If you are a beginner, I would advise you to cut from the original line where I've already marked. You cut from the original line if you won't be able to understand this, because we are using this pattern to cut both the front and the back. But for me, I'm cutting from the 0.25, which I would replace back when I'm cutting for the back. That is for the zipper when I'm cutting for the back. So if you can't work this way, kindly work with your original starting line. So right now I've gone ahead to place the fabric, and then you can see, please work with your pins if you are not so good with handy fabrics, because there are some fabrics that are shaking, but this fabric is not a shaky one. But always work with your pins by using the pattern paper and the material, holding them together, using the pins to hold both the pattern paper and the material together, as I am doing so. So always work with your pins. Don't take out your pins when you are working, because it's very essential. So right now I've gone ahead, I'm cutting through the sides of the skirt. I'm cutting through the sides of the skirt. So where you're cutting through the sides of the skirt, be careful not to go in with be careful not to miss out while cutting the sides, so you would not alter your measurement. So I've gone ahead to cut the up that has the 0.25, and then I'm going to use this pattern paper to cut for the back. But before then, you can see me, I'm marking my dart legs. Don't cut through, please mark through your dart legs, so that when you are sewing your dart, you would know where to hold while sewing. So I've gone ahead to notch the dart area. But when you are sewing for your front dart, remember I said come down by 4 for the front, then for the back you come down by 6. So right now I'm going to be cutting for the back. So I've gone ahead to place my fabric for the back, and I've folded it into two. And this is our front pattern that I'm placing here. So you either work with your fabric, or you work with your pattern paper, whichever works for you. But now let's not forget our 0.25. we have to replace it, because the back and the front is different. Let's not forget our 0.25. So this is me. I placed the pattern paper, and I'm also creating my zipper allowance and the allowance for my butt. So it's very important to create allowance for your butt from 1.5. You start creating allowance for your butt. You either put 1.5 or you put 2, but I'm going to show you where you're going to be placing the allowance for the butt. But first of all, our 0.25 is what you can see me replacing on the pattern paper. You can see I'm replacing it back from the pattern paper to the fabric. Please place your pattern paper on your fabric this way. Place it this way, and then you measure at the 0.25. After you've done that, you take your pins and hold your fabric. You can see I'm trying to find a balance. I'm trying to find a balance on the pattern paper and also on the fabric. Please ensure that the 0.25 is not taken out of it. After you have gotten it, then you take your pins and then hold your pattern paper and your fabrics together so it won't be shaking. This is very important. Don't take out your pins while you're cutting. You only do that when you are done cutting. So right now I want to show you how to create your butt allowance on this. So the line I just drew is the length of our skirt, and the next line I just drew is our hip line, and the other line that I just marked is our waistline. So to create your boots, the first thing you're going to do, slash open the fabric that has been folded into to the folded part slash open it. And then this is me, I want to create my bow. So it's either I use 1.5 or 2, but I'm going to be using 2 because this person is an average person. So, and then for the zipper allowance, you either use 1 inch or use 0.75, but for me, I'm going to be using 1 inch, and then I would connect from the boots to the 1 inch. And then for the allowance for the skirt at the length of the skirt, you either use 1.5 or you use 2. So for this video, I'm going to be using 1.5, and you can see I'm connecting these 3 lines together. I connected from the length of the skirt to the boots, to the allowance of the boots, and of the butt rather, excuse me, of the butt, and from the butt I connected to the waistline. So this is me creating our zipper allowance. So you get your slight curve ruler to curve the part of the butt. Curve that part is very important. So you can see the difference of using a straight ruler and a slight curve ruler. Please ensure you use a slight curve ruler for the sake of the allowance of the butt at the back. So this is very, very essential. So after doing this, cross-check your measurement, look at it very well and see if everything is okay, and then you take your scissors. This time around, you're not going to be using your paper scissors, you're going to be using your fabric scissors to cut through. Please don't miss out. Use your fabric scissors to cut through when cutting from the fabric, and for pattern paper, use your paper scissors to cut. So you can see me, I've gone ahead, I'm cutting through. Remember 0.25, we are not going to be cutting that, we are only cutting through this line for the zipper. So I've gone ahead, I've cut through the zipper, and also I have notched on where I'm going to be placing the zip, and also I'm notching on where the slit for the skirt is going to be. So I'm taking out all my pins right now, and then take out all your pins and then put your fabrics together. If you find this video interesting, please kindly like, comment, and share to your fellow soulmates. And if you are yet to subscribe, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit on the notification bell so you can get notified once I upload any sewing tutorial. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this video. Bye.